And tonight, gross abuse of power, selective justice, the summary of latest accusations from the opposition New Patriotic Party as it's now serving notice to pour out on the streets of Accra in the coming days over what they term as the return of, quote, a culture of silence and the watch of President John Dramani Mahama.
Selective justice is taking center root in our society. The dreaded culture of silence that the antecedents of the NDC took us through in the dark days is beginning to be reintroduced in Ghana.
And tonight we say there's more unfolding from the camp of the NPP as they take on the leadership of the Ghana Police Service over what they term as unfair bail conditions slapped on some NPP bigwigs. We'll give you details in the next 30 minutes. My name is Blessed Sugan. Top story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies. Holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Well, the opposition NPP has now confirmed that its members will pour out on the streets of Accra in the coming days in protest against what they describe as the return of, quote, a culture of silence under the watch of President John Dramani Mahama. In a scathing attack launched on the president during a news conference held moments ago at the NPP headquarters in Accra, the NPP's National Youth Organizer, Salam Mustafa, leveled a number of accusations against government, which they say demonstrates a clear case of abuse of state power on the part of government and also harassment of some key opposition voices. So what are the claims of the NPP? Let's get a sense of that, plus more for you. My colleague Stephen Mensah has been at that news conference earlier today. Stephen, let's break it down for our listeners. First of all, the claim by the NPP is that President John Mahama is increasingly becoming an authoritarian leader. On what grounds are they actually making these claims?
Well, Blizzard, they point to the President Mahama's announcement during his media engagement that the Signals Bureau has acquired new technology to trace IP addresses of social media users. The accused is accused of hate speech. According to the party, this tool is not about curbing abuse online, but a deliberate attempt to clamp down on dissent. They argue it amounts to state-sponsored surveillance designed to intimidate critics and silence political opponents, what they describe as the return of a culture of silence.
Today, I am scared to say that the narrative is changing. The story is becoming bleak, gloom. And I am not a prophet of doom. But if we continue on this parallel road, then we are on the way to Damascus. But all we patriots stand shoulder to shoulder with each other to say that we will not allow this country to be taken down a dangerous road. We have seen in the last period an evidenced pattern of gross abuse of power by the NDC government. Selective justice is taking center root in our society, and this is dangerous to the democratic ethos that we all believe in. That is why, as a party, our forefathers who started the fight against colonialism, will not sit and watch this country thrown under the bus. Ghana is a democracy and not an autocracy with a supreme leader. Today, I am scared to say that the narrative is changing. The story is becoming bleak, gloom. And I am not a prophet of doom. But if we continue on this parallel road, Then we are on the way to Damascus, His Excellency. The culture of silence is coming back. The dreaded culture of silence that the antecedents of the NDC took us through in the dark days is beginning to be reintroduced in Ghana without harassment. But yet, NPP people are being harassed. That is the kind of government we are having today in Ghana. That is why my friends in the media, all of us, we need to stand up. We need to speak out.
And speak out, he says, Stephen. But now we know that the NPP is also taking a swipe, not just at the NDC and President Mahama. They are taking that to the Ghana Police Service at their news conference. What concerns are they raising now with the Ghana Police Service?
So the party accused the police of being complicit in government's alleged harassment of opposition members. Specifically, they cited the use of harsh bail conditions, which in some cases have not made remand as a tool of intimidation. They contend the police have not acted impartially, but instead enforced politically motivated directives aimed at weakening the opposition.
A young man who had just gone to write an exam and was leaving the campus was accosted by men in 3 pickup vehicles, heavily armed to the teeth. Without any question, they bundled him and took him into custody. Whatever reason, nobody is told, because of his advocacy against the government. We saw the arrest of Sir Obama because he posted a picture on social media with a certain caption that this weapon is in the hands of civilians. He was arrested, dehumanized, molested, and treated less of a Ghanaian because he's an NPP person. And God, being a just person, decided that what the young man had written, which in all intents and purposes was to draw the attention of national security, police, and everybody on happenings in the north, rather was picked up.
And in fact, the list goes on and on for the NPP. They even talk about Bronya DC, who's recently had a case with the Ghana Police Service. Of course, reason for which the NPP is now raising concerns against the Ghana Police Service. And they go on and on about the NDC as well. Fortunately, the man who's been at the center of that, leading that charge for the NPP into next week's activity, the National Youth Organizer, that's Salam Mustafa, is joining us via telephone lines now. Also on the line with us is Aduji Tamaklo, who's Director of Legal for the National Democratic Congress. Grateful to you, gentlemen, for joining us. Now, I want to start off with you, Council. The fact that President John Mahama, I recall being in that hall when he made the statement about the possibility of the Signals Bureau of the National Security tracking down individuals who post insightful comments in his view. Beyond that, the NPP sees that as a ploy, actually, of the NDC administration to come at critics. They believe that John Mahama indeed is becoming a supreme leader. You disagree?
So, first of all, good evening to you. Good evening to Salam Mustafa. I can understand the advocacy for my brother Salam. He has a re-election campaign to run, and this is normal. To the substantive matter, President John Dramani Mahama has demonstrated over the period as a consummate Democrat and has always depended on the democratic institutions, democratic principles in his governance. And that is why Ghanaians return him to the Jubilee House with an unprecedented electoral victory since 1996. That in itself is a testimony of the level of belief that the Ghanaian had in him. What exactly is the accusation? President John Dramani Mahama, in his interaction with the media, and I strongly believe that you applaud him, for 4 years we never saw our president address people, particularly from 2021 to 2024. President Mahama has broken that, and he's subjected himself to scrutiny from the media. How is this man a supreme leader? Supreme leaders don't allow media interaction. President Mahama has demonstrated that already. What President Mahama is saying is that, for instance, if you pick Joy FM goes through NCA for authorization in order to operate. And there are clear rules of engagement related to that authorization, the frequency you have. And so you have been very responsible in your reportage. President Mahama is saying that we have moved into a different phase of media called the new media, where a person sits at home with the benefit of a camera and data and begins to incite people, even at the risk of saying the president should be killed. He is saying that you cannot hide behind social media to incite violence against the person of another. How in God's name is this the tendency of a supreme leader? I am surprised, honestly, that Salam Mustafa, who in fact, he is the youth organizer of the NPP, is today talking about harassment and muzzling the media. Possibly is the case of selective forgetfulness or memory loss. Let me just give him two examples. There's a journalist in this country called Bobie Ansah. Bobie Ansah gave an indication that the former First Lady has gotten a land in cantonment and has erected an office. Government of the day felt that that statement was wrong or undermines either the integrity or otherwise of the former First Lady, Rebecca Rufado. Bobie Ansah was arrested. Listen carefully. He was arrested, detained at the Central Police Headquarters. I was his lawyer. So the next day, when he was taken to the court near the Workers' College, again, I went there to apply for bail for him. It happened when Salam was the youth organizer. This is Salam Mustafa, the young man who led NPP tax to go and attack and assault persons who are engaged in lawful protest. Democracy how? Is it the Salam we're talking about?
And well, these are obviously, things in the past. We want to redress this, isn't it?
Yeah. Not, when you say this, you are making it look like 1997. I'm talking about 2024. Salam Mustafa. Young men were going on demonstration. Salam led NPP tax to go and assault them. In the name, they were destroying NPP posters.
And apologies, we seem to be losing you intermittently. Fortunately, Salam is with us, and probably by then you should redress your line and reposition for us. Salam, you've just heard Eduji Tamaklo explain why there's double standards on your part now, claiming that President John Mahama is cracking down on dissent. Double standards?
Not at all. Not at all. First and foremost, good evening to you and your cherished listeners, and my good brother, Ediji. I'm surprised listening to Ediji peddle untruth about what happened with the Democracy Hub demonstration. And I'm happy that you were putting questions to him, unfortunately. His line has slipped a little bit and he's gone off the line.
I mean, he'll be back. He's still with us. He's not gone. He's just repositioning.
I did not, at any point in time, organize bandits to go and attack protesters. Democracy Hub decided to organize a 3-day demonstration. And I am an avid believer in the democratic tools that the Constitution guarantees us, which demonstration is part. I have been part of so many demonstrations. Everybody knows that. So I'll be the last person to deny people the opportunity to demonstrate. Let it be on record that in the entire 8 years of the NPP, there were free demonstrations held by various groups, including the NDC itself, as a then opposition party. Nobody had any difficulty with it. The one time that there was a problem was when the Democracy Hub group, or to fix the country, went on demonstration and decided to vandalize our party paraphernalia and campaign material that we had spent the resources to put together around the 37. Then we decided to go out and protect our party material. In protest to what they were doing, we say, do your protest, but don't destroy our materials. They have nothing to do with your protest. That was the entire reason. And I said this in interviews. So for everybody to misquote me in an attempt to justify the bad behavior of the NDC government, really
misquoting
powerful.
you, is he? He says that you were silent throughout this period.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
He says you were silent. There's also the case of Bobie, which he points to, for instance.
It is the reason why they promised us a reset, that we were so bad and that we should be voted out. And the Ghanaian people accepted and voted massively against the NPP and brought in the NDC with the belief that all of those things would not happen again. What do we see today? Far worse than what they were against. Today, people for less are badly treated. That Abonye was treated like a terrorist, handcuffed, thrown into Black Maria, taken to and fro court, denied bail on the basis that he's less of a person than the IGP.
Mustafa, let me be blunt with you on this. Do you support what Abronye says on his podcast?
No, I do not.
So you're not
that
happy
is a
about
separate
it?
matter. And I say that it's not that I accept the language, but the principle.
Yeah, but why support that?
I'm coming. Principle. Listen to me, principle. We have taken a petition to the IGP on threat issued by communications officer of the NDC in Ibakwa South, one Wahab, who threatened the life of the minority leader, our national organizer, Nanabi, the minority chief whip, Ano Dompe, and as we speak, nothing has happened to him. And we still stand by it, that the petition is before the IGP. Why hasn't would have been arrested.
Okay, so in all
If
of this,
he were
there's the case of
NPP person,
political.
Bernadette Dabo
Just hold
Rumble
on
stands to
for me.
arrest the person.
Salam, just hold on for me. So in all of this, there's a case of political equalization, which you both are
No.
doing. Do you feel that a protest is the way out of this, instead of perhaps dealing with this at a different forum? Maybe
to the
IPAC,
extent that it is not
there's the
just
Police Council
equalization.
as well. Yeah.
It's not just equalization. To the extent that we have become targeted, takes the ball out of equalization to an attempt to crash. And let me tell my brother, Edwiji, His Excellency the President is assuming supreme leadership because he wants to remove a chief justice. For whatever reason, only known to them, because for them, the former Chief Justice perceptively is an NPP person, that when they were in opposition, the court was not balanced. So for now, they want to balance the court. On that basis, they remove a Chief Justice. So you tell me that somebody is not behaving like a supreme leader?
Okay, now you're bringing in the Chief Justice as well. I don't know how that is related to the police attacks. But Eduji Tamaklo, you're listening to all of this, and the MPP says that's why you promised a research. Give us the research that you promised.
And my brother, am I talking to Bless?
Yes, I'm right here with you, lawyer.
Bless, listen carefully. President John Dramani Mahama promised a reset. What he didn't promise is to encourage recklessness. He never did. Two, what he never promised is to interfere in the work of lawful security agents. Like I said now, the black barrier, what was it even? Look, there is no issue of equalization ongoing. Mahama has made it clear that you will permit democratic institutions to work. If you have any challenge,
Council, we seem to be losing you intermittently. If you could just reposition. I hope that's clear now.
Is it better?
Yeah, much better. You'd have to make the point again so we can hear you clearly.
As far as the Mahama is concerned, to ensure that institutions work, even talk is subject to the dictates of the 1992 Constitution. You do not find that in the US. When that happens, my brother tries to smuggle in the idea of the removal of that.
We seem to be having a challenge with the line to lawyer Eduji Tamaklo there. Probably a time to just redial and perhaps connect with him again. But Mustafa, while we wait for Eduji Tamaklo to get back, he says it's not about research, it's about responsibility. So how about speaking to your people as well? Because if you do not offend or find yourself on the wrong side of the law, I don't believe that the IGP, for instance, will come from for some of your individuals. You are calling it targeting.
I would have easily agreed with Eduji if there was fairness, parity in the conduct of the police, in the discharge of their duties. When we went for a rerun of some police stations in Ablekumanov, a known attacked Hawa Kumsin and our deputy national organizer, we ID'd these people and sent it to the police. They didn't arrest them. Why? Because they're NDC people. I have told you of the petition currently before the IGP of the communication officer, Wahab, who is still working a free man. So when there is selective application of the law, there's a problem.
Because of time, let's deal with the aspect of what you intend to do on the streets of Accra next week. Is it a one-day event?
But for now, we are starting with a one-day event. If we don't see any improvement and it continues, then we will also elevate our responses to picketing and other tools the Constitution makes available to us to protest.
I see.
So Tuesday, we are starting to show our disgust with the targeted execution of NPP members.
Okay.
And we will, increase our responses as we evaluate the response from both government and the security agencies.
Okay, I understand Eduji Tamaklo is back on the lines with that, and let me just give you the final thoughts on that. You don't want to have this as a new government, is it? With just 8 months in office, you'd want some level of stability, but the opposition is already going to hit the streets.
Let me tell you, opposition have the power to oppose. Constitutionally, they have the right to demonstrate every day. Remember that in a short period, the NPP has organized about 5 or 10 demonstrations already. And so it has nothing to do. It is about their internal politics and remaining relevant for their internal delegates elections, among others. On the facts, at least today, the NPP had come out to demonstrate, and the police are not to stop. That is a reset. In the past, I have had, as private legal practitioner, accompanied Bedanmona, Rexoma to the high courts because they have to go and demonstrate. And the police have come there to stop them with a view that if they demonstrate, there is terrorism within West Africa, and so they should not be permitted. And judges were granting them that opportunity. Today, NPP can demonstrate 10 times in, 8 months. That is victory for democracy. And that is to the credit of President Mahama, the consummate Democrat. That is the difference. I think Salam could have a lot to learn from the excellent leadership President Mahama has demonstrated. Salam, a good lesson for you.
Unfortunately, there's no lesson to learn from His Excellency the President. The high hopes Ghanaians had in him and gave him a resounding victory. He has betrayed that.
Where the police
your 24-hour economy promise with job, one job, 3 shifts, 3 people has been a facade. Where is it?
I think you need to
rather you are interested in going after your political opponent.
Understand why you lost the
today. Your national chairman has already abandoned your president and is on tour to replace him.
You are tired.
Gentlemen,
I think there's fatigue.
This politics will continue.
So we don't have anything to learn from you.
But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your time, gentlemen, for joining us here. On Top Story, grateful to lawyer Eduji Tamaklo, Director of Legal for the NDC, and also to you, Salam Mustafa, National Youth Organizer of the NPP, lacing their boots now to hit the streets next week. Top Story with me, Blessed Sugant, and brought to you tonight by Telecel Connecting Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Next is Ghana Connect.